Howdy all Muglox Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. So I just went up a level. I wanted to see oh man. I need 3 more points. Oh man, I need 6 more points. I've got my 2 bottles of acid and I feel like I'm gonna hold out for motorcycle, given how difficult it has been to find acid and tires, and I'm just gonna hold out until I can make the... Oh man, no, I need more than that. I need 8 more points to be able to do this, because I've got to get the ability to do... I said 8, but that might not be true. I need 9 more points. I've got to be able to do steel to be able to make the motorcycle. I need another point in my intellect, which is 3 points to buy, so that I can go to the 5th level in anything under intellect. And so I need 5th level to make steel, and I need... I don't know if I've been out here before. I have. This is in my town. Never mind. I'm hungry now. I don't think I have any food on me that's edible. Well, we didn't play our game session this week. One of the guys skipped and didn't say anything, so I don't know what the deal is there. Same one that I had spoken to the previous time about if he wasn't going to play anymore, to let us know so that we could either take over, make a new character or something. And he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to play. And then he doesn't show up. So I don't know. I mean, he showed up the previous week and then a different guy didn't show up. Okay, this is nice. So the fetch is inside a restaurant and I'm out of food. So I'm going to go loot said restaurant, reset restaurant, loot restaurant again. As soon as I can find... Ugh. The path into said restaurant. Have you seen the entrance of this place? Shady. That was shady game. So, it'd been nice to know, because, you know, I do have the Horizon game is out now, and I've been playing that pretty heavily. Let's get a little bit of health regen going here. That's a lot like the original, so Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm liking it so far. Seems a little easier. I don't know if it's just because I just played through Zero Dawn that it seems easier. Like I'm in practice, maybe. But I do feel like it was difficult at the beginning of the game, and then once I got a couple of items, it got easier. And now that I've got like points into damage from my bows, more acid. Man, did they fix the acid drops? Crazy. I might not have to wait for steel now. I'll be able to just shoot forward for a mini bike. But yes, that one's been a lot of fun. Elden Ring comes out today. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that one or not. I bought it. I'm going to play it. I think it's currently finishing its unlock download. Honestly, it's been a really wonky release for me. A, why is it releasing at 6 in the afternoon? That's a weird time. I mean, I guess it's midnight wherever the game company is, must be the deal. But well, distinct lack of food so far in this place. So I'll be playing that one later. Checking that one out once I'm done with work, which isn't going to be till way late, but it is what it is. Hey, look, I needed boots. I don't have any boots on. Isn't really particularly. Oh, yeah, there we go. Be less hungry. Okay. I had a conversation last night while we were waiting for the other guy to show up. I kind of feel like, you know, the whole Mandela effect thing. I feel like I experienced that a lot, and I'm pretty sure it's just a sign that I might be a tad crazy. But you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna assume it's still up on the roof. I can just run up on the roof and grab this. Question is though, is that dang vulture gonna come for me again? You just walked right over your friend. Uh-oh. Ouchie. Well, that's one of the points I need, right? I can make a bike, but I don't want a bike. I want a motorized vehicle. So I believe I'm going to go ahead and use my other bandage here. I don't have I don't have any way to heal myself, and that's as close as I get at the moment. This thing happens to me where I think I read something or saw something, and I believe it to be part of the thing that I'm talking about, and then it turns out not to be. And so, quick examples. There's an old book series called The Belgorad that I've read many times. And in there's a guy who can speak with horses, right? And there's a berserker guy in there who's massive. And so in my mind, I was sure there was a part where the horse guy laughed about something the horse said when the berserker guy got on it because he was so giant compared to the horse. That's not in the book. But it was like one of my favorite parts, and I used to joke with people about how that was one of my favorite parts in the book. It's not in there. That's not a thing. I don't know where it came from. And one that shocked me recently is my complaints about Assassin's Creed. So Assassin's Creed Revelations, to me, when I was playing through the Assassin's Creed games, completely rewrote the storyline. And I hated it. I didn't hate the game. I hated that they rewrote the storyline. And it was very weird to me because I distinctly remember the first game, as it's my favorite in the series so far. I really like the whole Altair storyline, and so one of the things I remember is that the main character was kidnapped and has no idea what's going on, and they want him to relive the memories of his ancestor, which is the storyline for Assassin's Creed. But what I remember is that he didn't know what assassins were or any of it because you, as the player, don't know what assassins are or any of it. And so it makes sense to me that that was the original storyline, was that he didn't know what was going on, and so he had to learn what was going on while they were experimenting with him. And then when you get to, and then game 2, which is Assassin's Creed 2, uh, you've been rescued by some people, and they put you back in the machine so that you can relive the memories of a different ancestor who learned training as an adult, because one of the things that happens with the machine that they use to relive your ancestors' memories is their abilities bleed through into you. And so um, Desmond learns to be an assassin from reliving the life of an assassin who's in training. So it basically gives him the memories of training. I mean, sure, he's got to work his body and stuff like that. Oh man, was this not the spot where the thing was? It's not there now. They moved it on me. Come on, go down. Oh, it's right here. And so I distinctly remember him being so confused about what was going on because he didn't know. And then in Revelations, he's like, yeah, I grew up on the assassin compound, and I was trained as an assassin till I was 16, and I was so good at being an assassin that when I decided that this wasn't the life for me and I escaped, I was able to elude all the other assassins on the compound and get away. And then I was living in New York, and I don't remember what got him caught, but something got him caught. And I'm like, what? Then what was the point of Assassin's Creed 2 or Assassin's Creed Brotherhood if he had training? Why would he need to go back to the beginning to learn how to be an assassin all over again? That doesn't make any sense. Like, if you were part of a weird organization like that, they wouldn't wait until you were an adult to start training you. You'd be training from starting out as a child because that's when you build muscle memory. He should already have assassin training then at this point. I'm not saying he would have the eagle vision special ability that he got from Altair, but he should at least understand that the Templars and the Assassins are at war with one another. That wouldn't have been a secret on the Assassin compound where they were trying to live off grid so that the so the Templars wouldn't find them, right? Hmm? Yeah. So that's a thing to me. So then I start playing Assassin's Creed again. I just got it on my computer, and so I was talking last night about uh, Lord of the Rings is what brought all this up, and I have a distinct memory in Lord of the Rings that I was then told last night wasn't true, and and so I also talked about the Assassin's Creed thing because I thought, oh well, maybe I just had one of those hallucination moments where I remember a different part of the story than actually exists in real life. And so then as we were talking about it, then one of the other guys was like, "Oh no, that's the story," and I'm like, I just started playing the Assassin's Creed over, and it's different now. he knows about being an assassin and Templars from the beginning. It's like the first time the doctor leaves the room, he has dialogue tree about how he's an assassin and was raised as an assassin, and I don't remember that being part of the story before. And in fact, I remember him being a bike messenger, and then in Revelations, he says he was a bartender. Not that I guess those are necessarily exclusive, but it does change a bit of what's going on to me. Anyways, Lord of the Rings is one of those where I remember him going and Aragorn going and picking up these people who've been waiting to swear fealty to him, and then bringing them to the final battle. And this ties back into. Did I talk about Lord of the Rings and the huge uproar? I don't think so. So there's a lot of arguing over Lord of the Rings at the moment because people are angry that it's not identical to a story that doesn't necessarily exist. Um, and some of the changes that they've made that seem like such trivial changes that not all of them, but there are some trivial changes that are some of their big "this is why I hate this show" things that I just can't quite figure out why it makes a difference. Uh, One of those is dwarf women not having beards. Um, I don't. I know it's a thing that occasionally gets mentioned, but they don't always have beards in most things. So it's such a trivial. Like, there's no point that I'm aware of in the story where a female dwarf having a beard matters to the story, right? If it doesn't matter to the story, I feel like it's okay if it's a little different. He's just gonna give me a bicycle. Oh, this is a hard one. A bundle of farm plots and random seeds, I think, might be a better reward than something I can make. I have to go with the farm bundle. What did I get? Oh, I have to unpack it. Okay. Let's get this back to base so we can see what this is. That's an awesome reward. Sure be nice if I got the bicycle too. But I feel like farm plots are more difficult for me to make than a bicycle. Because I've gotten what 3 bottles of acid now, and farm plots will let me start growing food, and they require, I don't know, 6 one way, half dozen the other. Depends on what the seeds are. If I get potato seeds, So yeah. So anyways, what I remember is at the end of Lord of the Rings, and I have read Lord of the Rings since I watched Lord of the Rings. And so what I remember is that they go through the mountain at the end of Lord of Return of the King, and they find these villages that are mercenaries that are supposed to be going to help the king, the Witch King, whatever his name is, Saruman. Um, and so they realize that Aragorn is the king, uh, and so they swear fealty to him. And so when they show up, instead of being reinforcements, they are allies to the humans that are fighting already. Um, and so it's really disappointed in the movie because it's one of my favorite parts in the book that I remember. I might be remembering it incorrectly. Um, but it's one of my favorite parts because in my mind, sure, Lord of the Rings is about throwing in the ring, but it's also about the journey of Aragorn, from running from his destiny. I mean, it's what it's really all about, right? Is running from your destiny. And so like Frodo, is it Frodo? Yeah, Frodo kind of fights his destiny. Bilbo fights his destiny in The Hobbit. Aragorn really is fighting against his destiny because he's heir to the throne. He doesn't want to take it up. There's whole scenes where he's like gazing at the broken, sword, and they got like the scenes between him and what's her face, because she's got responsibilities and she also doesn't want to necessarily do what she has to, that kind of stuff, right? And so it's just a great moment for me when he finally accepts his destined responsibility. And then I'm just like, ghosts come out, and I'm like, what do you mean ghosts come out? That's not. Now, I haven't looked it up, but one of the guys I was talking to last night about it says that is what happens in the book, is that there is a point where ghosts come out. I don't remember there being a point where ghosts come out, but I'll take him at his word. But he did say that they do not come out at the end of the book, at the battle. That's the Grey Company. And the Grey Company must be what I remember as swearing fealty to him. Now, the guy I was talking to, he argued that, in fact, in the book, the ghosts do come out and that it's not people, but it's ghosts. And I'm like, I just don't remember that. Um, but then he found out that yes, in fact, it's not ghosts at the final battle. It's people. Okay, I open this back up right because that was there. Raw food. Here we go. Food, food, food. Oh, I see glue as well. Food, food. My rotten meats. Cooked foods. So anyways, yeah, so that led to our whole discussion about me being confused, and I just thought it was funny. Yeah, it happens to me from time to time, and I'm gonna have to re Lord of the Rings again because I do not remember the Army of the Dead, which apparently is a thing. Glue. These need to go up here. Why do I have a wooden club? All right, let's see what's in this pack here. We got mushroom spores. Yucca seeds are useful. Goldenrod seeds are useful. 3 farm blocks. Okay. That's not as good of a reward as I thought there was going to be. I mean, I guess it's an alright reward, but still. I was expecting something a little beefier. So, I do have another story I want to tell. Last week, and I've checked since then, but last week I received a text from my phone company, my cell phone provider, not my cell phone provider, but the cell phone service provider, and it said, I'm just going to plop all these down on these 3 spots right now while I work on getting more space. Y'all can just grow, and then later I will plop you out. So the text said, starting next week, we will no longer be providing service to you. Um, this was on the 18th at 2 in the afternoon. I know this because I looked last night. I scrolled through my messages from my phone company for the previous 2 years, and not once in the previous 2 years did they let me know that they were changing their infrastructure to the point where my phone would no longer connect to their service. Now, here's the trick. It's not true. My phone can still connect to their service. They just refuse to acknowledge that my phone will connect to their service. Now, given that I don't use my phone away from Wi-Fi a lot, I was not aware, but apparently I have never gotten 4G connection with my phone because AT&T says my phone is not a 4G device. But on a different provider, it is a 4G device. And that different provider is also using AT&T's towers. So I'm not exactly sure how the other provider can use AT&T's towers and give me 4G, but the one I was on, which isn't AT&T, it's a different provider, how they couldn't give me service. I don't know, it's crazy. So I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And so I got looking, and I'm like, I can't believe my brand new less than a year old phone can't connect to this infrastructure change. Like, that's just bizarre to me. And so what it is AT&T does not have my phone listed as a compatible phone, and therefore the service provider I am currently, or sort of currently, partially with, has decided that my phone is no longer a valid phone, which is crazy to me. And so I'm like, oh man. And so that's on a Thursday afternoon. So on Friday, I'm still trying to figure it out. And I find some people that said, well, we just switched, we just got a new SIM card from the company and put that in, and the messages stopped. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe that will solve my problem. So I order a new SIM card. Well, the company is also sending me messages that they're going to give me a free phone to make up for the fact that I will no longer have service. I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I will take advantage of free phone. As well. So I placed my order for free phone, which is a good thing I did it when I did, because they required me to use a number they texted to me to confirm my order. So I placed my order. And then on Monday, I realized there's no mail. It was a holiday. And so I'm like, oh, great. No mail. No mail, and I need this new SIM card or phone to arrive. I'm glad I didn't put in for overnight shipping, because overnight shipping on the phone was like $15 or something, and otherwise it was just free shipping. And so I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna wait and check the SIM card first before I switch phones, because I like my phone. I don't want to switch my phone. And so then, what do I need? I need a repair kit. Okay, we can make a repair kit, because I think that's just tape and iron. And so I on Tuesday stopped receiving texts or the ability to make phone calls, and which is fine. I don't really make phone calls, and it still worked for my work, because Mostly I just use the work app over the Wi-Fi, and there's very few times that I have to call or text or anything. So I'm just like, whatever. So Wednesday I get my SIM card, and I check the SIM card, and it's like, yep, still don't work. I'm like, oh man. And then I go on to check my phone account, and it says the phone you've ordered is back ordered, uh, and we don't know when it'll be in, but as soon as it's in, we will send out your phone. I'm like, oh great. So what do they think I'm supposed to do? Sit here with no phone? I mean, I don't really use it for phone calls or anything, but I do use text messages, and now I've got no text messages. So I got looking around, and there's another phone provider in my area, uses the same network that says my phone is completely compatible with their network. Same cell phone towers. Uh, and so I signed up with them yesterday, and um, and so I ordered a SIM card from them, and uh, tested to make sure I could keep my number and all of that. And so today I get my SIM card because they ship it right out overnight. And I put my SIM card in, and it comes right up. I start getting text messages again. And I get, the message, this is your phone number with our service, and that kind of stuff. And it's the same phone number I got now. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll get my phone set up on the new network. And so there's like a voicemail app they want me to download, and there's some other apps they want me to download, and then I try to sign up online for an account with the company because I like to do that, be able to keep track of my stuff. And when I ordered my service, they didn't really ask me for a whole lot of information. And so I assumed that was all going to come with, like, I never gave them my email address, I don't think. And so I found that weird, and I just thought it was all going to be associated with the phone number because that's how the other phone company did it, right? And so I go to log in today and set up my account, and it asked me for my phone number. I'm like, okay, well, they texted me and said my phone number was the same, so I type in my phone number, and that goes through, and then it asks for my information, so I type out my information: name, address, email address, that kind of stuff, and then it says, all right, we're going to check your email. We've sent a code to your email. Please enter the code. So check my email. There's the code. I put it in. And then it says, let's check your phone. We sent a code to your phone. Please enter the code from your phone. I'm like, okay, here's the code to my phone. And then it says, now we need you to enter the PIN number that you set up at the store. And I'm like, okay. I set up a PIN number at the store. It wouldn't take a 4-digit PIN. So I had to come up with oh man, I'm starving apparently. So I had to come up with a bigger PIN. And it was like, it needs to be between 6 and 15. And I'm like, okay. Actually, I don't think it would take 6. I think it only took 8 or more. I want to say there's got to be some reason I made it 8 long. Anyways, I made it 8 long. And it says on there that the PIN number is between 4 and 15 on their site, but they wouldn't let me make one that was only 4. I don't really have any good food, man. And So I go to enter my PIN number, which is 8 characters long. It only takes 6. I'm like, this is weird. That was on my phone. So I'm like, okay, I'll go out to their website on my computer. So I got to the website on the computer. It only takes 6. I'm like, what? Like, you made me pick a big PIN number. What do you mean you only take 6? It says between 4 and 15. Why is it stopping at 6? So I go on their chat. I'm like, hey, this is my problem. And they're like, well, I don't have an account for you. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to set up my account right now. All I got was a PIN number and a SIM card. And they're like, okay, well, we'll call you. I'm like, okay, well, here, use my home phone number because I don't know if the phone is set up correctly yet. And they're like, okay. So they call me on my home phone, and I'm like, they're like, hello, what's the issue? And I'm like, oh, okay, I hate this. I hate that they ask you all these questions about what the issue is. You answer the questions, and every single person you talk to requires you to repeat everything you've ever said to anyone at any point during your trouble. Like, do you not write any of this down? I don't understand why I have to repeat everything. So like she just said she was calling me from the chat where I had told her what the problem was. In fact, I think the chat did double. I told the first chat person what was my problem, and then they sent me to a second person, and then I told that person what the problem was, and then that person called me on the phone and then asked me what the problem was, and then we go through all that, and then she's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to send you to someone else." I'm like, "Okay," so then send me to someone else, and then that person asked me what is wrong, and so I repeat everything I said before, and then that dude takes like every piece of information there is in the entire world about me, and so I assume he's setting up my account, and then I'm like, and then he's like, okay, and then we will shorten the pin down to 6, so it'll work. I'm like, all right, awesome, and then he goes, um, the phone number you've given me does not match our records as being an available phone number. I'm like, no, it's an existing phone number that I'm switching over. It already says on my phone that that's my phone number for your network. So I would guess that maybe it went through. I don't know. And so um, oh, I didn't want to fall down here. Oh well, I need to put some ladder up here anyway, so I can get up here. I think I can dig this out right now without causing too many issues. I'm gonna try. And so he goes, I'm gonna need to send you out to someone else because I can't. Oh, he said my SIM card didn't match any known SIM card. I just repaired this thing, man. Oh, maybe I didn't. I made a thing and then didn't repair it. And so he had me take my SIM card back out of the phone, compare the numbers to the SIM card number on the card. They're the same. And then he's like, "Yep, I can't help you." No, he didn't say that. He said, "I'm gonna send you over to." I think he said the problem is that I was using one kind of account, and he only worked with a different kind of account. Okay, so they says he's gonna send me to a different person, and so I'm waiting, and then it goes completely silent, and I'm like, "Oh great, I lost connection." Uh, and did I do 4 from the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay. 2, 3. And so it takes me to an automated help thing that will not listen to me. Uh, at one point, I was yelling at it. I don't get angry, but when it keeps asking me the same question over and over again, acknowledging what I said and then doing something totally different, and so it was like, oh no, this is great. So it was like, what are you trying to do? If you're trying to start a new service, say new service. I'm like new service. Because I tried help with your account and it told me I didn't have a account number. Is this for an existing phone number or a new phone number? And so I'm like, existing phone number. I told the phone number. It says I can't find that phone number in our records. I'm like, okay, new phone number. And so then it's like, so is this for a new service or an existing service? I'm like, a new service. Do you have a phone number or are you looking for a phone number? Looking for a phone number. Is this for a new? I'm like, new service. Finally, it kicked me out to a person. Now, it had asked me in there what kind of account I had, and I told them the kind of account I had. And then I start talking to another tech person. And then I get part of the way through that. I explain to her what's going on. And then she says, oh, that's not the kind of account I deal with. Let me send you to someone who deals with the kind of account you're trying to work with. Okay. So they sent me over to that one. She asked me a bunch of questions, including making me tell all over again what my problem is from the beginning. What is that, like 5 or 6 people I've had to talk to now? And so she's like, well, I'm gonna have to send you over to the tech people because reasons. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, is this because I'm transferring a number which I had already told her? And I'm like, do I just need to wait a couple of days or something? Like, I don't understand how my phone number is not in the system, but your system is telling me it's a number in the system. Like, when I go online to fill out an account and I have to type in a phone number, it says my phone number is part of your system. And she's like, well, it says your SIM card is already active. I'm like, yeah, I got my SIM card today and put it in my phone and it activated. And it told me that this phone number that you say doesn't exist is my phone number for your thing. Is it because it's from she's finally says, "Oh, right. So you need to wait till tomorrow." I spent an hour on the phone repeatedly saying, "I started a new service. I'm transferring my number, and I've got a ID. I got a PIN number that's too big to go into your system." For an hour, I said this to be told, "Oh yeah, you're just gonna wait till tomorrow." Yep. So yeah, it has slowed me down on my work today for sure because I couldn't talk to them and work at the same time. So I actually have quite a bit of work left today, which is why I am recording now, uh, which is a little earlier than I had intended. A little earlier being this is when I'm normally finishing work. I still have at least 2.5 hours left to go, and a new game I want to play, and maybe dinner at some point. So, all right, with that, be better than the small things, lean to the light. I will talk to you later.